I was saying before, it's great to see you, man. It's been too long. A year and a half has passed since we've sat down. Mm-hmm. So let's catch up, first of all. There's nothing new with me. I'm living the exact same life. What's new with you? Have you changed at all?
I don't know.
You're in a stasis, you're just like...
Yeah, not really.
New hobbies?
No.
New injuries? New ailments? You're getting older.
Yeah, getting a lot older. I read the Andre Agassi biography. It's completely random.
I read that. Open. That's a great book.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But his description of waking up in the morning feels exactly like I feel.
And the difference is that he played professional tennis for 20 years.
Or 36 years.
And you're just an actor.
Just
Come on.
lie on the floor every day, just waiting for my body to wake up.
Have you been very much into the pop culture zeitgeist in the last year and a half? Did you watch the Breaking Bad finale?
Yep.
Okay, check.
I hadn't watched TV in years and years and years, and suddenly got really, really obsessed with it.
Nice.
Like my entire week, all I do with my week is wait till Sunday so I can watch Game of Thrones. Really? And if I don't enjoy the episode, it will ruin my next week.
Has that happened? I confess, I have not watched Game of Thrones yet. I know it's... That's the same look, by the way, Peter Dinklage gave me. I told him recently, and he was like, what?
What is your problem?
So it's amazing, though.
No, I literally haven't loved something that much since, like, my family.
And debatably, maybe more. What about, were you invited to Kim and Kanye's wedding? I didn't see you there. Sadly, that invite was lost in the mail.
No, was not invited.
That's very upsetting.
I'll hold it against them.
Have you had a cronut? That's come and gone in the last year and a half.
No, I haven't had a cronut. It's a terrible name for a thing.
It is, but it's tasty. Trust me.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't really eat sweet things anymore. I'm too old.
Can't handle the metabolism. Can't handle it. I want to talk to you generally also about some career stuff, because in the time since we've spoken, the good news is I think we're going to talk a lot more because you've been working a lot. You've done I think 4 or 5 projects in the last year and a half. I think.
I keep forgetting about stuff.
Well, you did obviously Map to the Stars. You've also gotten a chance to work with Werner Herzog, which I know was a big deal to you. What was that experience like working? You were in Morocco, right? Like, were you?
Yeah, kind of a similar environment to the Rover.
Really?
Weirdly,
Extreme kind of.
But it was great. Like Nicole Kidman's really fun. I like going around wearing what do they call it, a keffiyeh all the time, like literally in my robes, being Lawrence of Arabia. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Riding a camel.
How was that? How are you on a camel?
It's kind of amazing. Do you know camels eat their own I was literally looking in the guy in the mouth, going like, "What is wrong with his mouth?" It looks like he's got a bunch of shit in it. It's like, yeah, he does.
Your respect for that camel went way down, or up, perhaps.
Yeah, no. It also had a whistling, like my one had a whistling tooth.
Okay.
So, like a lisp. So every line I had is like in between every line.
Amazing. Did you get to do stuff with Franco too? I know he's in that.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, someone asked me the other day, "So you worked with James Franco?" I'm like, "No, I haven't."
He's in the movie, but
I completely forgot he was in it. But no, I literally just missed him. He left the day I got there.
Has it been a conscious choice that I think all of the films? I mean, I don't know if Life is considered like a two-hander between you and Dane, but the other films they're supporting roles. They're not like the guy. Is that something that was a conscious decision to take some work with the best filmmakers possible, no matter how big the part was?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just easier. It's like I wanted to work with all these people, and it's less of a decision. Like if you're doing a smaller part, then it's sort of like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to ruin their movie, and you can kind of experiment, and also it's a lot less pressure. But yeah, it's kind of, I wasn't really trying to seek out supporting parts that much.
Right.
But yeah, life's sort of, yeah, I guess it's a two-hander. But it's 2 separate stories, really.
Interesting.
Like, there's James Dean's story and mine. But yeah, it's all been kind of quite random. I mean, these are all like the Queen of the Desert I was attached to like 3 years ago.
Right, yeah.
Like, and it just, everything happened at the same time.
Yeah, Naomi was going to do it, and then Nicole filled in, et cetera. Yeah. One I'm excited about is you're going to be working with De Niro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Have you met him yet?
No.
What do you think about that?
I'm so excited about it.
That's amazing.
It's great, and doing a gangster movie as well. It's like,
As a talented
and with the say
filmmaker.
as well, and it's like, and the script's incredible. And the other person hasn't been announced yet. I forgot.
But it's a great person.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like a proper ensemble thing.
Nice.
It's cool. I really like Chicago as well. So
Was that what you're going to be shooting?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Good food. Be careful.
Amazing. Watch the bloat.
And is that going to be the next thing? Next shoot?
I think that I might do this other thing first, but I'm not sure yet.
And are you still attached? Are you still hoping to be in Lost City of Z? Another great filmmaker, James Gray, right?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's going to happen in January. I was supposed to be doing that this summer, and
Yeah.
then Benedict's doing a play, I think.
Right.
And so it has to move to January. But yeah, definitely.
You can bond with Benedict over. I've had the chance of talking to him a lot. I assume, have you met him yet?
I've never met him. No.
He's amazing. You're
Yeah.
gonna love him. His fans call themselves Cumber Bitches.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I think you can bond in terms of fandom, in terms of what that's like.
That could really be misheard very easily.
Yes, it seems wrong, but if they like it, I guess it works for them. On this character immediate, like on the first audition, is it similar to the guy that I see you play in the finished product?
Yeah, kind of. And so it was. I mean, I really thought I knew what it was, but then when I was going into the audition, or like the morning of the audition, I was like, I actually have no idea if this is right, because I hadn't had a single conversation with him or anything.
So it was all instinct. It was just off the page
and just walking in, kind of, and it was the first time I'd really gone into the first time in years that I've gone into an audition kind of in character as well.
Oh, interesting.
And
so literally, you walked in the room as
sort of
Ray?
half, which is kind of difficult to have a normal conversation with someone. So you're like trying not to speak at all.
They're like, is that Rob Hansen or Ray? What's going on?
I remember the last time I did that was for Transformers 2, and almost lost my agent because.
No. Wait, when you walked in character?
Yeah.
What was the character in Transformers 2?
It's like the friend.
I was like the best friend.
And I thought I was being so funny doing this thing, but like I was saying, I was from somewhere in America, because I always kept thinking that if you say you're English, then they judge your American accent, but if you just say you're American, but they knew I was English.
Right.
And so they're like listening to my backstory about being from Denver, and they're like, what is this guy on?
And curiously, you didn't make the final film. Weird. Probably worked out for the best for everybody. Are you getting more confident, though, in auditions, you feel like, at this point? Do you enjoy that process a little bit more, or are you...
No. I think the thing with David, my problem with auditions is that I need... Walking into any room, basically, with strangers, I need to get over... I've got about 45 minutes of neuroses, which I need to get over. In an audition, I'm doing absolutely nothing for the first 45 minutes other than freaking out.
Right.
And David just kind of could sense that, and then just ended up kind of letting me go through all my craziness. And doing it for like 3 hours. Or 4 hours or something.
Yeah.
And as soon as I kind of got into it, then it was like, oh, you actually have a chance to do something.
Talents, but I think none greater than your karaoke skills. We know that you like to karaoke. This is a documented fact.
I haven't done it for years,
actually. Is that true?
I get extremely competitive, and I'm like one of those annoying people who say, I want to sing it well, I'm not saying it's a joke.
Well, we're willing to anoint you as the king of karaoke if you're willing to accept that honor. Because I mean, I know I've talked to Hugh Jackman. He's karaokeed with you.
Yeah.
We know that you've karaokeed with your friend Katy Perry. I've never karaokeed.
Ever?
Literally never karaokeed. Do you have any tips for the aspiring karaokeer?
God, I don't know. Like, generally, just go. I have no idea. Go for something outside of your wheelhouse. Or the brain just like
slowing down. Do you generally like to do duets, or do you like to do solos?
I think I've only ever done karaoke like 3 times. I remember doing Bump and Grind years ago with a friend of mine, and to about three people. One of my favorite karaoke experiences where I wasn't actually singing, but my friend, we were in this bar in Lubbock in Texas. There's 2 kind of jocks in the front row, and my friend was singing I Believe I Can Fly, and these 2 guys are just going like, the entire time in the front row.
Fans.
It's absolutely amazing. The entire song. My friend's getting so into it.
generally a drink or two a good idea when you're karaokeing, or should you be stone cold sober, you think?
It depends on, it's probably better well, yeah, I guess it's probably about drinking. I love Hugh Jackman's thing. Did Hugh Jackman ever tell you the context of
I don't know if he
thing?
I feel like there were wigs involved.
Yeah, him and Baz Luhrmann dressed up as Japanese schoolgirls. That was pretty amazing. In way too small outfits, like singing ABBA. It was absolutely astonishing.
You were like, what drug am I on? Because I can't be witnessing this.
I have a video of it somewhere as well, and I can't find the video. It drives me crazy.
My God, that would explode the internet. I mean, were you pissed off? Because didn't the Katie video that leaked at some point? Someone had that video
Yeah,
in
6 years later.
Later, right?
Yeah, just really crazy.
Bizarre.
Because I've been to that place again a bunch of times. I didn't even realize they film it.
Now you have to watch yourself. Clearly in a remote area. I assume there was not a Four Seasons nearby where you shot this. So was it on film it looks remote and brutal and pretty rough. Did it feel as such? Did you have creature comforts, or was it a pretty...
No, it was kind of nothing out there. We were 9 hours outside of the nearest, they were little tiny towns. The only thing around there are basically towns that are built for the mines. It's kind of what the stories, why me and Scoot's character are out there. And it's kind of similar that it's sort of artificial towns. One of the towns we were in had died. There was a plaque saying it had died in 1973.
Here lies this town, it's over. And
a lot of the characters, character actors, just people who are in the movie, were living in that town.
Oh my! Still living there?
Yeah, after ghost town. Yeah, it's it's a Chernobyl kind of thing. But it's kind of amazing. There's a kind of, you could just look out to the horizon. There's just nothing. Yeah. Hundreds of miles. Do you miss any kind of creature comforts when you're out there? Because I assume you don't have Wi-Fi. I assume you don't have that kind of stuff. What did you miss at all, if anything? I kind of miss vegetables a little bit.
Meat out there?
I didn't realise until I came back to Adelaide after the shoot, and we had this one dinner, and you suddenly find yourself eating there's a side of broccoli, and you're just eating the whole bowl of it, your body, you kind of
your body's telling you something. Yeah. Put something good inside of me, please.
I've only been eating barbecue sauce for 2 months.
You've been on a bit of a run, a press tour, and this one started in Cannes, obviously. I know you were just in Australia, and I assume you're pretty aware of the reception and that you are getting really great reviews for this, and it feels like probably the best reviews you've gotten thus far in your career. Are you, how aware are you of that? Are you reading reviews? Have you learned to not read reviews, given, people were, critics, Twilight wasn't generally the critics' cup of tea, obviously.
You sort of half... It's funny that the good ones only stay with you for about 3 seconds, and then the bad ones, you know all the names for the rest of your life.
Are there some without naming names that still stick in your mind?
Oh, completely. I know there are some reviewers who just don't like me, and and it's nothing to do with the movie, and they just figure out anything. They're not even watching the movie.
Amazing. Have you ever gone after one? Have you written something to somebody or emailed or anything?
No, I've thought about it many times.
A lot of unsent emails, half written. Dear sir, I review your job and you suck at it, by the way, too.
I was doing some interview for IndieWire yesterday, and the guy's like, I love the movie, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, why don't you review it?
Where were you when I needed you? Let's talk accents. Was this a tough one to kind of arrive at? You're generally good. You've done a lot of different kind of dialects early in your career. Was this an easy one to come to?
I've never really sort of tried to do an accent in anything as such. It's it's whatever just sort of sounds nice. And it just said he was from the South at the beginning,
right?
And Scoot hadn't started, so I kind of had free reign over the accent. But there was kind of interesting little rhythms in the way David wrote it, and it was kind of, I guess, quite a sort of natural sort of thing. And there's one tape of this guy from Florida, which I was listening to quite a lot, of just this guy who's... He's just a normal guy I work with this dialect coach, and but he just sends a bunch of tapes just to kind of get ideas from.
Right.
But yeah, kind of... I think so. I guess it's a sort of Florida accent.
Okay.
But it's, it's in the future, so it doesn't count.
Right. Basically, you can do anything. Do you prefer now? I assume you've probably picked up some good Australian profanities too. Do you prefer your profanities in the Australian jargon, American jargon, English?
I actually didn't. The only phrase I kept noticing in Australia, they always say nutting it out for figuring something out.
Oh, that sounds wrong though.
I know, I kept just using that and be like, yeah, I've just been nutting all over it.
Amazing.
I'm just nutting on myself.
Nutted everywhere. We're kind of the two most juvenile people in the world, so for the next 20 minutes we're just going to make nutting jokes.
Every interview I did in Australia, it's like, yeah, man, I've just been figuring out how to nut on guy.
The most important scene in the film, Carrie Hilson.
Yeah.
Was that in the script, that particular song?
No, it was the Pussycat Dolls originally, which I thought was like pretty funny as well. But when I'd never actually heard that song before.
Okay.
And he sent it to me, and then I thought it was a new song, and I was like, wow, how did you find this? This is like perfect for it. And realized it's got like 500 million hits on YouTube. Like,
It's last of the party.
And but yeah, I thought it was kind of great. Yeah, and it's such a kind of special moment. It shows how brave David is. And also, I love how it cuts into the movie because it's just so loud.
Yeah.
Like, in my stupid little running after guy, it becomes this, like, kind of children's movie for a second.
So there was no other big ones under consideration. Had you prepared to sing the Pussycat Dolls song? Were you?
No, I think it was before they started shooting. I think
Okay.
he got that. But I knew all, like, because David was saying originally, he's like, I really want you to, like, really go for it. So he's, like, singing it hard in the car. I'm like, I really don't know how to do that. That's crazy.
Do you sing in the car in your real life? Like, do you sing when nobody's looking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to anything and everything, or is it a specific kind of song that inspires?
Well, I almost exclusively listen to hip hop, so I sing along to a lot of Tiger.
Interesting.
Like I'm obsessed with Tiger.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have any perspective? Do you pay attention much at all to, since Twilight, there have been these much different kind of franchises, but obviously Hunger Games and Divergent's now huge. Do you feel like you have a unique perspective on seeing people like Jennifer and Shailene kind of navigate that thing? Like, do you see that and say, oh, I remember what that was. I can imagine what they're going through right now.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they all seem quite different, like how people react to it and how and also what the expectations of the actors are. I think it's different from Twilight. I mean, I literally had no expectations whatsoever.
Right. And these now, everybody goes in thinking it's going to be the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, or like and people. I feel there's a lot more pressure on people now. I mean, like, for the first year after the first Twilight, I just messed around. I mean, the first press tour, I was just trying to amuse myself.
Oh, we remember. Yeah.
I didn't even realize anyone was watching the interviews.
No, we've got the tapes. That's the video.
It's like, so I guess it is kind of different. You have to have a different level of professionalism.
Do you feel like you've matured?
Sort of. A little bit, I think.
I mean, do you approach press differently? Approach conversations and knowing what to expose and what not to expose, and because you're still pretty open in this conversation, You're still shooting from the hip, I
mean, I think I've always had a quite a good ability to kind of self-censor myself. So it's sort of to self-censor. So I kind of, I don't know, I had sort of instinctively about that when I first started. But I think, I don't know. I'm trying to be less self-depreciating because like you spend like 7 years being self-depreciating, and everyone's like, that guy doesn't even think he's worth shit.
So why
he probably
should I?
is it.
Yeah, so you need to start saying, you know what, I'm pretty awesome. And then we're all gonna.
And people get away with that. It's so crazy. It just blows my mind every single time. I'm just like, I've got to start referring to myself in the third person.
Right. Rob thinks you're great. Of the look of this guy did you come up with, and how much of it was David's idea in terms of just like hair, teeth, everything?
I mean, I had quite a specific idea. I mean, the teeth, it was sort of, I think I pushed it more extreme. I had like little ideas about, I wanted the back of, I keep forgetting what the bone's called at the bottom of your skull.
I don't know either, but okay.
Let's
make up a word.
Sacral bone, something like that.
Let's go with that, sure. Yes.
I wanted to do that because I just kind of wanted to have the back of your head always exposed. I thought it just looked kind of vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I took all my hair off and stuff.
You like shave your arms? You mean like?
Yeah. Just to kind of you just sort of look like a sort of newborn animal.
Okay. Interesting.
Kind of shaved ape.
Well, he is kind of like he is like a newborn in some ways. He's like kind of like
Bambi.
Is that what you consider him? He's Bambi in the Disney universe. I mean, how much backstory did you or David have in terms of like what his issues were, etc.? Like in terms of like what?
I mean, we sort of talked about it. He's not. He's kind of a guy who's been really severely bullied and kind of been told there's something wrong with him.
Got it.
For so long, and basically never even been asked a question or anything. And so even though a guy's character is being kind of incredibly abusive and stuff, it's really the first time he's been told to think, and so it's like the mechanism of thinking is not really there. And so he's like, like when he asks him like, is that something you know, or is that something he told you, or something you know, or something, and he just can't understand sort of basic questions. It's like, because no one's ever asked him anything. They just slap him in the face all the time.
Right.
So it's kind of that, and their relationship is sort of a bit of a rebirth. So he's a newborn again. Did
you ever encounter bullying as a kid, as a teen? Did you feel like you were the bullier? I hope not.
I wish I did. Someone stole my shoelaces once when I was about 12.
And you went on a rampage after them. That kid has not been heard from since. You got your shoelaces back. So that's good.
I actually did beat him up after it. He's only 8.
You have the size advantage. Well, I know not to piss you off.
Pick your battles.
Seems like one of those crazy things. But someone mentioned that they're eyeing you for Indiana Jones for some kind of like reboot.
I swear people just do that just so I get bad press afterwards.
It's not a bad thing.
Hey, how about he plays Jesus?
That's the other one.
No, he should just die. It's like, great, thanks, man. I didn't even know they were rebooting it.
So safe to say that's no basis in reality on that one.
No.
Were you like the rest? I feel like every young actor I talked to auditioned or got to meet J.J. Abrams for Star Wars.
Not me.
It got awkward. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I'm so busy.
You probably lost your number.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
That's okay. There's plenty of fish in the sea. About this awesome film. I was telling you before I got a chance to talk to David Michaud, who's obviously a very talented filmmaker. For those that haven't seen Animal Kingdom, also an amazing piece of work. You went after this one pretty hard, right? This was an important one.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to work with David for ages. I mean, I remember seeing the teaser trailer for Animal Kingdom, which was like this minute-long thing with that Air Supply song, I'm All Out of Love on it. And I remember seeing that and being like, God, that's like, he's got something. And met him after that. So I guess I talked to him for about an hour, about a year before this came along. And then saw this and, for some reason just connected to it really, really hard and really went after it.
So when you have a meeting with a filmmaker like that, and I presume, you've taken a lot of quote-unquote meetings like that, where it's almost like a get-to-know-you kind of chat to see if you click, presumably. Do you feel like that's like, is that an audition too? Do you feel like you have to kind of pretend to be something you're not, or are you just kind of like laying your cards on the table and hoping there's something between the two of you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an audition. I mean, yeah, you have to kind of amp yourself up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I like doing those though. I mean, especially when you're doing with
people you admire.
People you like, yeah. And really, the few times I've really gone after directors and stuff, I've ended up kind of being friends with them afterwards.
Nice.
Which is strange and cool.
A random project, and I know it's not really like a firm project that I want to mention, because we even talked at the time, I feel like Harmony Korine is someone you want to work with, right? Mm-hmm. So there's no concrete anything for that, is there, or?
It's sort of half concrete.
Oh, okay, there's an idea, there's something.
It's still wet. But yeah, I hope. He's been very, very secretive with it.
Got it.
But yeah, I've been talking to Harmony about it for ages.
Is he going to screw with your image the way he did with Franco and Spring Breakers style? Are you going to have dreadlocks or something?
I don't know. I literally have no idea what it's about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he keeps saying like, yeah, it's coming at the end of the week. And then like it goes
Weeks go by.
and it's really annoying.
You have to take, though, a lot of satisfaction, just, again, in looking back in the last couple of years of, like, you are now, like, you could consider yourself a Cronenberg regular. Like, I mean, that's amazing. And people like Assayas and Michaud, like, I mean, these are the filmmakers. I know you said in another interview, like, you're kind of, like, in those DVDs you would want to put up on your wall when you were a kid. That's got to feel really cool coming out of where you were in a certain kind of box. You're kind of creating your own...
Yeah. I mean...
Your own career now.
It is really nice that you kind of... I mean, I'm not sure how long it can last for or whatever, but I mean, it's kind of, you know, just to be able to like call up Cronenberg or whatever. Like Michaud called Cronenberg to say about the rover and stuff. And like, I don't know. I just like doing stuff to make my friends jealous.
That's the end goal.
Guess who I'm working with?
I've got Cronenberg's cell phone. Do you? Yeah. Are you making much time for music lately? Are you, because, I mean, again, last time we spoke, you said you were writing a bit, but I assume you haven't been performing. At least we haven't heard about it.
I sort of go through little phases, but you kind of, I think it's such a different area of your brain. You kind of, and it's weird.
Yeah.
And I've suddenly got kind of into acting at the moment.
That's a good thing for us. That's good. That's good. And what about screenwriting? Are you still dabbling, trying to actually write something of your own?
I'm trying to write a play, which I've been trying to do for ages, which I think like, maybe next year I'd quite like to direct it.
Really? Where would you want to stage it?
Probably in London, but I'm not sure yet.
Nice. Do you have an itch to perform on stage again soon, or?
Yeah, 100%. Really starting to want to again, but I just find it really difficult to find the right thing.
Yeah. Broadway, London.
Yeah, let's do a musical.
Full-on musical. Let's make it happen. The last thing, Game of Thrones. That's the obsession. Anything else that's on the pop culture radar that you're into? That's what's taking up your brain right now.
Veep as well.
Oh, again, I hear that's amazing.
It's so good. It's amazing. Yeah, but Game of Thrones is my thing. I've got like the app on my iPad and stuff.
What happens on the app?
Haven't actually used it. I was like looking at the maps.
Have you read the books?
No, I don't read. Jesus.
No, remember we talked about that self-deprecating thing. Don't do that. It's always good to see you, buddy. Congratulations on this one.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.